You know, there's always so much polarization. Of course, there's a duality matrix. In order for this system to exist, there has to be a lot of polarization, which is pretty funny because it doesn't matter. I mean, everything comes down to what you believe in anyway. You know what I'm saying? And then there's people who say they believe in absolutely anything. And you know what? I mean, here's the thing. I believe everything that I can see, I can touch, I can feel. You get what I'm saying? They're my 5 physical senses that I believe are functioning. You know what I'm saying? I believe that I am able to feel based on certain experiences that I'm having out here. But I am aware that I need to believe in myself, knowing that this is all an illusion anyway, right? Now, look at, for example, you got polarizations towards certain topics such as veganism and whatnot. And veganisms, I mean, you could have an array of different reasons for why you're vegan. You know what I'm saying? When you're vegan, for example, you may say it's, you know, cruelty against animals. You may say, you know, it's not for the body. The body's not meant to eat meat, whatever the reasons may be. You know what I'm saying? But in particular, you know what I'm saying? Let's say it's for, you know, animal cruelty or whatnot. See, I garden. So there's people who garden also, and they're vegans. And they say that it's because it's, you know, for animal cruelty reasons. But then again, when you garden, you have certain pests. But the ones that are pests are particularly the vegan ones, the ones that eat your plants. You know what I'm saying? The ones that are eating your fruit. For some reason, the pests are not the ones that are carnivorous. So there's carnivorous insects. And those are such bugs such as the ladybugs, the assassin bugs, you know what I'm saying? You got praying mantises. So these bugs actually eat, they're carnivorous animals. I mean, insects. So they'll eat the bugs that are eating on your plants. Okay? The ones that are eating plants are the bad guys. So, I mean, it just goes down to basically even we have carnivorous plants. And if everything starts in the soil, okay, and you have carnivorous plants, that means that you're eating some form of animal or insect or whatnot to some extent. You know what I'm saying? So the reasons that you may say for animal cruelty and whatnot, and I know there's an intent behind the actions, like if there was a specific action taken by you, then it's different. If because you could walk down the street, and if you're one of those people that don't believe in even killing a bug, but you could be walking down the street and maybe step on a bug, or if you're driving an automobile and you assassinate maybe a few 500, 600 bugs on the highway because, you know, they splatter all over your windshield and all over the grill of your car and whatnot. So, you know, it don't matter, right? Because you still need to drive. So, you know, animal cruelty and whatnot, it's just, to me, it's very hypocritical. You know what I'm saying? Now, as far as it belonging in the body and whatnot, time and place for everything, because I eat meat, except I know how to eat meat. You know what I'm saying? And one of the things I could tell you is that we do things in the most unnatural way, okay? Because who is to say that we're supposed to cook this meat? Now, if you look at the meat, for example, you try to tear this meat with your hand, it is extremely difficult to break this meat when it's raw, right? But it is neutral, which means that it is not acidic to the body. But we have certain concepts such as salmonella, E. coli, and all that, and all these things are basically coming down to ideas or thought forms based on the fact that you don't have the proper gut bacteria to actually be able to fight off or even be able to process whatever idea or concept we have of this salmonella or E. coli. You know what I'm saying? Now, when you see everything outside of you, you see the illusion, right? And you say, this is all fake. Nothing matters. I believe in anything. I believe in nothing. So you say you believe in yourself. So when people do like spiritual dissections of themselves, if you're not telling me that you went down to a microbial level or a bacterial level in your body, then what type of surgery have you done? You know what I'm saying? Because if you're doing the surgery and you're just breaking off the main parts of what is told to you by medical doctors based on that dissection of a body, you see, like I said before, you could see everything out here, but you can't physically see what's in you. You would have to close your eyes and go deep and take that dive to be able to perceive what it is that is within you. And all of a sudden, when you start to intertwine and mingle in this world, all these knowings just start to connect dots for you like magic. You know what I'm saying? Because here's the thing. The main bacteria, let's say, B12, has so many things that it influences throughout your system. You know what I'm saying? And it's just a bacteria, but people think it's a vitamin. All right. So B12, for example, they say people eat meat because it's high in B12. Well, I spoke to a doctor actually, and I didn't know he was a doctor, and it was at at my job and whatnot. And I asked him, he's looking for methylcobalamin B12, and it's the highest bioavailable source of B12 supposedly. You know what I'm saying? So I asked him, I was like, hey, how's the diet? I always ask the first thing is, how are you eating? Because everything that happens for some reason in your waking life, if you fall ill and whatnot, it always comes down to how you're eating. You know what I'm saying? There's always got to be a chemistry. You're an electromagnetic being, okay? There's an organic and inorganic way of doing things. You're an organic being. So for you to have a chemistry, you need to have chemistry with another organic being or another organic element. So there's people who indoctrinate you into believing that walking with sneakers, shoes, or boots is normal. But in actuality, that's not normal. Normal is you walking barefoot on the soil, okay? Because it's considered soul food because you're planting the soles of your feet on the soil. Now you're receiving negative ions and you're giving off the positive. And you're grounding from, like you see, you have positive, negative, then you have the neutral. You ground your energy, okay? So when you're grounding your energy, there's a chemistry going on there. Is it happening when you have shoes on? No. Now, there's a way to genetically modify, because it's all binary codes. It's all the genetic codes here. So if you're eating organic, then you are going to turn on your systems within you because there's going to be an electric charge, okay? See, if it starts from an atom, and an atom has the protons and the neutrons and then the electrons that are floating on top, and based on how that's even interacting, you can know what element it is that you are observing without having to look it up, just by the interaction of how that's even occurring, okay? So if you're eating something that is replicated and is not the original one, then what is happening is that you are actually doing the opposite, and you are shutting off certain mechanisms within this organic computer in order for it to fully function. Now, here's the thing. There's a chemistry, but there's different levels of energy. So you can have energy in the body. You get what I'm saying? But how is that going to be in any way considered spiritual energy? Because I can give you caffeine and you'll get a stimulation, but then you'll feel great. You'll feel like, man, I have limitless energy. You'll feel really, you'll feel like you could break through a wall, but it's because it's a quick charge, a quick stimulation, but it's not coming from you. It was borrowed energy from an exterior source, such as caffeine, which fatigues your adrenals. So it's not naturally occurring in the body, that you are producing it with breathing properly or energy movement or energy manipulation. You get what I'm saying? So this same thing happens with food. You may have energy and feel healthy from the foods to be a human, because that's why they say it's beast mode, because you're feeding the beast with certain foods. That's the concept they say with high vibrational foods and lower vibrational foods. You see, your body here is dense. So you eat the density and you're feeding the machine. And then they say the higher vibrational foods is considered spiritual food. You hear what I'm saying? So the way it's working is that you'll feel the energy from the foods you eat, right? Even if it's genetically modified, it's still fuel. You know what I'm saying? But because you're used to a certain level of insulin spiking throughout your life, and then let's say you become conscious at a certain age, maybe a later age in life, you'll believe that this is not affecting you. But you see, here's the thing. The Food and Drug Administration approves anything that doesn't kill you right away. But if they're aware of something that is not healthy for a human, but it doesn't kill you right away, it just kills you slowly, then they'll approve it. And then somebody takes it, they don't see the sudden changes, so they'll think it's okay to eat certain things when it only deteriorates you little by little in such a slow rate that you won't even notice when it happens. And then when you don't have that connection with yourself, because the microbial levels in your stomach are not fully working or functioning to be able to metabolize certain things in the form of information, because everything you're receiving is information. And if that's not working, do you notice how if your brain is not firing on all cylinders, okay? Do you notice that you can't process certain levels of information that you're receiving, even to the point where if your frequency is not high enough, you'll listen to somebody spitting out something high vibrational and you can't fully process it? It could be also that you're so in the ego that you will already have your mindset set on the fact that you believe in nothing, so you'll believe everything. You'll believe in nothing that is coming from somebody outside of you. When in actuality, if that person is actually spitting something to you, it should mean something, because that person is in that space, in that now moment, for a reason. You know what I'm saying? And they're showing you something that can be useful based on what you already know, and it could be built on from the information that you already know. You know what I'm saying? Now, this is the beauty part about building with other people when you have an open mind. You know what I'm saying? It's not to indoctrinate into somebody else's concepts, beliefs, or anything like that. But the whole point is that it is also important to know that if you are a supercomputer, okay, you would need to know how to dissect that computer and have all the program. You see, you upgrade the, I believe it's called the hardware or whatnot, and then you can program the software, all right, for it to actually be, because look at the mouse. The mouse on the computer is moving based on a control that you have on your hand. But then the mouse looks like it's like you're here on the planet, right? Is you actually walking on the earth, or is the earth moving underneath you? You know what I'm saying? So it's like you got to look at it from so many different angles. And then what you're eating should be considered a source of information, but not information where you're going to be saying, oh yeah, I can process this information like you think you're getting it in a human language. It doesn't work like that. You see, the thing is that it's a level of awareness. The consciousness opens up to a point that if all these things that you're eating and you have a lot more to work with, then you can eat certain things and be able to have a certain level of protection against certain concepts like E. coli or salmonella or anything like that. But then again, when the meat is raw, for example, it is even harder for the body to process that meat, right? So we end up cooking it. So we cook it in the interest of thinking that it's a lot easier to break because it's going to be easier digested in the body. But when you do that, you also change the molecular structure of the entire meat. It is now acidic. And it is affecting something called the intrinsic factor, which is responsible for recycling the B12 in your system. This B12 bacteria is actually so important that it is responsible for red blood cell formation, carbohydrate metabolism, neurological functions, and natural energy. Why natural energy? Because do you notice how when you take a deep breath, these blood cells all of a sudden start, cherry red, and then you start to oxygenate your blood, you oxygenate everything within you, and you just feel more energy. But it is also, if you cannot have that red blood cell formation, which is formed in the bone marrow, that has a lot to do with calcium in the body, and it goes deep into vitamin K, which you would get from like leafy greens and whatnot, or let's say, for example, the sun, which is processing the hormone vitamin D, which we say vitamin, but it's not a vitamin, it's a hormone on the skin. That has a lot to do with how the calcium is actually being absorbed into your system for it to actually keep your bones healthy, and you would be able to produce red blood cells, okay? And for you to be able to breathe properly and oxygenate your system in order for you to have more energy. So not only is it also very important for that, but you don't even need a lot of that B12 bacteria. Why do you think kids, when they play in the dirt, they're actually a lot stronger, a lot healthier? They're building their immune system, these defenses. You know what I'm saying? We got this concept that we have to be super clean and whatnot. And that to me is a load of shit, because that's where you start to, break down these defenses. The body has to be exposed to certain things. You know what I'm saying? So we buy these things in the supermarket. They put these pesticides in them, and that natural bacteria that's supposed to be on there, which is called probiotic, that's the natural bacteria that's supposed to be in there, is no longer there. And you're actually thinking that it's not only the chemicals, is that you're saying that you think the pesticides and all that is doing bad. Is the fact that they use the pesticides to kill the actual bacteria that you need for your body to be functioning on all levels. You know what I'm saying? So if you want to talk about believing in something and not believing in, see, I believe everything because it is me. Everything outside of me is me. But I don't believe in everything. I believe in me, but I believe everything outside of me. You get what I'm saying? And now I trust myself, which is why I can trust everything outside of you. The same concept goes that when you say, in order for you to love others, you got to love yourself, right? When you love yourself, you can love others. If you can trust yourself, you could trust others. So I can believe everything that's out here in this machine that I am operating in. You hear what I'm saying? So if I am now operating in this vessel, okay, I can now decode and decipher what is in my reality for me. Now, like I made the example before, there's no need to debate here. Everybody's doing what they need to do and they're at the level they need to be at for a specific reason in a certain moment in time. You know what I'm saying? Now, it's like I made the example of the liver going to war with the heart. They're both doing what they need to do and the whole body is actually functioning in homeostasis. But if the liver is trying to indoctrinate the heart on how it's supposed to function, that machine is going to fall apart. What is the point of vibrating high here? You know what I'm saying? Because we talk about, like, let's say living to be a certain age, let's say 100 or whatnot, and is the interest of you, eating healthy or staying healthy for you to be able to live longer. If we look at this system as a prison planet or whatnot, you get what I'm saying? The key is to be able to, because you see, everything is a programming, even to the fact that people say you have to sleep 8 hours. You know what I'm saying? See, everything is a tool, but these tools are not used because sleep is the cousin of death. You know what I'm saying? So if you're sleeping, you're supposed to do something while you're sleeping, but you do nothing while you're sleeping. You just fall asleep, right? Rather than going into a sleep the same way you would go into a meditation. The key to going into a meditation is to maintain a certain level of focus. When you go to sleep, it's for you to be able to have an intent to actually live on the adventure that you're in that world, and then you come out here and play in this realm. You know what I'm saying? But the thing is, certain foods you're eating are actually turning off certain levels of that spiritual energy that I'm talking about. Because you could see a hyperactive person out here. Don't mean that they're spiritually upgraded. It means they could still be spiritually dead. You see these monks, these gurus, and they're all quiet and they're calm. That doesn't mean they're low energy. You know what I'm saying? They got a freaking crazy high spiritual energy. You know what I'm saying? And it's very important to realize that everything out here works. But it is designed that way. It's designed that way. So that there can be that level of separation and people debate against each other and everything works. Everything really does work. It just depends on your level of awareness and what is the organic original path for you. Because if somebody says, I want to lose 20 pounds and they lose it on a keto diet, they'll lose the 20 pounds. They dedicated themselves to that diet. And that diet to me is the most unhealthiest diet in the world. But if it worked for them, they had the intent to lose weight. But they're only about the body, nothing else. Now, when somebody's aware of their body plus spiritually, then you would know how to zigzag back and forth between where you need to be. Like you would balance your acidity and alkalinity and what you should be eating in the body. Natural, neutral, base, home base. So if things are based, right? They're based and then you're able to stay in that center neutral zone. How come it is that you don't want to go too alkaline, you don't want to go too acidic? So you stay in the neutral zone and your body's supposed to be neutral. You get what I'm saying? Now you have good bacteria and bad bacteria. You're supposed to have an 80-20 ratio. People don't have that balance of bacteria within them. You get what I'm saying? And that's why when you see this illusion or whatnot, you can say that there's bad, what we would consider bad people or good people. You know what I'm saying? But it is what it is. It's just the way the system is designed. You go about your day, you enjoy your day, not judging anything, and just basically see it for what it is. And build your spiritual energy with focus the same way you go to the gym, you build muscle. There's a focus muscle that gets built when you go into meditation. That's the key to meditate. It doesn't mean that you're any more spiritual than anybody else because you meditate. You know what I'm saying? And it don't mean that you're any more spiritual because you're eating high vibrational foods. Because there's people who eat high vibrational foods and they're assholes. You know what I'm saying? They're full of ego. And I see that through certain YouTubers with extremely high channels, high followers. You know what I'm saying? They live in their ego. But it is what it is. It's there for the distraction. And people like that. They like the negative energy. Negative energy is attractive energy. Women is a feminine energy. And that's why women are attractive. You know what I'm saying? Understand this. Anything that you are perceiving in your reality, you are electrically pushing energy out, and you're also magnetizing something to you. That's the electromagnetic part to you. You know what I'm saying? So that's the electromagnetism. This really is a beautiful experience. I'm not going to lie. You know what I'm saying? But you got to know how to eat. And yeah, everything is in your mind. That's where the whole concept of prayer came in. You transmute and transform energy. You get what I'm saying? But it was meant for that to happen if you was to go kill the animal in the wild. And then you transform and transmute that energy because the animal's freshly killed for you to be able to use that energy within you. You get what I'm saying? Maybe sucking the blood, I don't know. Or cooking the meat. Whatever you want to do. But it is freshly killed by you. It's not exposed to all those chemicals. See, a lot of the stuff that you eat, sometimes from the supermarkets, are not natural. They're organic. And when it's organic, there's a separate type of ritual that's been made to affect how you ascend, if you want to call it ascension here. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you go and look at the logos of every fast food place, all these logos have a hidden symbol in them, right? So how do you know that those don't even, all that stuff that you're eating, rituals weren't done ahead of time? Because we could look at the company Cinemax. I said they add aborted baby fetus and certain things for flavoring. You know what I'm saying? And it becomes addictive. But nothing that's organic or natural should be addictive. You shouldn't be addicted to anything. The only reason that things are added to certain foods is to make it addictive. And then people fall asleep and they become the slave to the body. Because the body now, the beast became addicted to certain things. So you could even look at that with sex. Some people get addicted to orgasms. So they'll go into porn, they'll go into, and your body's not going to know the difference between a real and a fake experience. You know what I'm saying? So there's an addictive property to it. But when you're making love to somebody, it's a totally different thing. Because you see, your mind doesn't even have to be on the lustful space. You're doing it from the heart. Now you're able to create. This is how you bring a child into this world, actually. Because that's another ritual too. But everything you eat, when you're eating, that's a ritual. When the penis is inserted into the vagina is eating that penis. And what you're putting in your mouth, you're either doing it for a specific reason or you just fucking yourself. But everything here, we want to talk about illusions and whatnot. Negative energy. I mean, negative energy is what you absorb through your feet, right? But we look at negative energy as a bad thing because it's drama and all that. And negative, you know, that person's being negative or whatnot. But negative energy is what you attract, and positive energy is what you push out into the soul. So it's not like it's whatever you perceive it to be. But what's normal? That's the thing. That's where you have to realize what were you programmed to believe is normal and what was programmed to believe is not normal. Is even communicating with somebody else to try to tell them what normal is that even normal? You know what I'm saying? Even telling somebody that what they believe in is all an illusion, that it doesn't even matter. Even just talking is not normal. Because we're supposed to be communicating in other ways. We're supposed to be reaching each other in other ways. Through frequencies. Because that's how everything works out here. Energy, frequency, and vibration. I'm a vibrational being. I emit a frequency. And based on my vibrational, emotional states, because that's why emotions are used, is to know what you're going to be attracting back. But people aren't aware and they actually let their emotions get the best of them. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I just basically try to do my analysis and spiritual dissection sometimes like this, just making a video for myself. This video is for myself, by the way. This video ain't for anybody else. We'll talk soon.